wanted to do a short video where I cover resources in Project K, because by far and away, the thing that I see people confused about the most is how to spend mana in this game. Well, it's called energy in this game, and we'll go over that in just a moment. The reason I know this is so confusing is because I hear people talk about it all the time in the Project K community Discord, the Discord I've been running since, well, basically since the game was announced. You can come join that community, and you can come join us on Tabletop Simulator if you own a copy of the game by downloading my mod. You can find both of those links in the description. Let's quickly jump into it because this video shouldn't need to be too long. Every single card in the game has an energy cost associated with it. Energy is this number right here. We can also find this on the rule PDF. Oh, I can't do anything. There we go. Rule PDF, you can see the energy cost listed right here. You'll see rune cost is divided into two things, energy and power. To spend energy, you exhaust a card, and to spend power, you recycle a card. You can even see this when you look at your rune deck. Regardless of which rune you have, whether it's physical, fury, mental, whatever it is, it says exhaust one. That little arrow icon is saying exhaust to add one energy. This kind of black icon with the white text means energy. Recycle me to add, and then it has the physical icon that is an orange color. Activate this at any time. So I'm going to cover all the edge cases and talk a bit about what this is all about. So firstly, if we take a look at Magma Worm, if we take a look at Magma Worm's cost, you'll see that it is an 8 energy, 1 power card. What this means is if I wanted to cast a Magma Worm from my hand, I would need to exhaust 8 runes, which would generate a total of 8 energy. So now I have 8 energy floating out in the abyss. But in addition to exhausting all of these runes to generate all of that energy, I would need to recycle one of these runes to generate a power. So now I have 8 energy and 1 power floating, and I can play my Magma Worm. Boom, my Magma Worm is in play. This leads me to these seals. There's quite a few seals in the game. I believe there's 3 seals off the top of my head, and they all cost 0 energy and 1 power. People get confused by this text and assume that it is a mana rock, but it is not a mana rock or an energy rock. It is a power rock. If you read it, it says exhaust this. That's what the little arrow icon's saying. So you need to exhaust it to get its effect during your turn, meaning that it's essentially once per turn. You exhaust this, and it will stay exhausted until your turn comes back around, and then you'll be able to exhaust it again. But what actually happens when we exhaust it? Well, as you can see by the text, we add 0 energy, so we don't add any energy, but we do add 1 power, and we may activate this at any time. So let's say, for example, I had that Seal of Fury in play, and I wanted to cast this Magma Worm again. I would have to exhaust those 8 runes again to generate 8 mana, or sorry, 8 energy. It's energy! It's energy, it's not mana. You have to exhaust those 8 runes to generate those 8 energy, but we still have to pay for the power that we would typically get by recycling one of those runes. Instead of recycling one of those runes, I can exhaust this Seal of Fury, which will also generate a power, just like the runes do when we recycle them. So now I don't have to recycle any of my runes, and I can play the Magma Worm. I also see people get tripped up with Accelerate. Accelerate is a keyword that's saying, as an additional cost to play me, basically, you may spend an additional 1 energy and 1 power to have me enter ready. So if I wanted to play my Legion Redguard, usually when people first read this, what they think that means is they have to do this. They have to, let's say this is my, actually let's just re-ready everything. People will think, well, to play my Legion Rearguard ready, all I have to do is spend 3, right? But no, you also do have to spend the power, meaning that you'll have to recycle one of these or exhaust something like a Seal of Fury. If you're ever uncertain about whether a card effect is a energy or whether it is a power, meaning that you would have to recycle a rune, the best thing to do is remember that the energy is all colorless. So you'll see that the energy cost here, the pay 1, is colorless. It's listed as black because all energy is colorless. It doesn't matter whether I'm generating an energy from this red rune or this orange rune, it's all just energy. But if I need to pay a power cost, in the case of this Accelerate card, I would need to generate a red power or a Fury power. So I would need to recycle specifically a Fury rune. So in this case, to have my Legion Rearguard enter ready, I would have to exhaust 2 runes and recycle 1. Now you'll notice I just recycled a card that I already had exhausted. You can recycle a card you already had exhausted. We can actually get super fancy with this. Let's take a look at a card like Noxus Hopeful, which reads Legion, I cost 2 less, meaning that if I've already played a card this turn, I cost 2 less. It's turn 1, and I have Seal of Fury in my hand, and I have Noxus Hopeful in my hand. You might think it's impossible to have these 2 cards be played, because if we play Seal of Fury, we're going to have to sacrifice this rune to generate the power cost of this Seal of Fury. And you'd be kind of right, but you'd also be kind of wrong, because when you generate a resource, you keep that resource until you spend it or until you end your turn. So if we exhaust this for 1, meaning that we have 1 energy now, We don't have to spend that energy yet, but we've exhausted it. So we've exhausted this energy. Then we play the Seal of Fury, which requires cycling the Fury rune back into our rune deck. But we still have this energy that was created by this. Then we can exhaust this, and then we can play Noxus Hopeful from our hand, because Noxus Hopeful saw us play the Seal of Fury. Even though Seal of Fury got rid of this rune, it already generated the energy we needed to play what is now a 2-cost Noxus Hopeful. Hopefully that was enough of an edge case to talk about all the different ways you can play cards in Project K. Thank you so much, keep being awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.